Hey guys, what's going on? Counterspell Hater here, back with another EDH guide. I wasn't able to record on Friday because I was packing and getting ready to go to camp, and I just got back. So moving on, we are now going to get into today's video, which is Millicent Relentless Reverence. So that is who we are building the deck around. So what is it? So for 5 generic, a white and a blue, it's a legendary creature, Spirit Warrior, or 4. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each spirit you control flying. Whenever Millicent Restless Revenant, or another non-token spirit you control dies or deals combat damage to the player, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So obviously we're going to be doing spirit stuff. So first we're going to get into just generally like spirits we can play. So starting with Patrician Geist, for 2 generic and a blue, it's a creature spirit knight, 2/2. Flying, other spirits you control get +1/+1, and spells you cast from your graveyard cost 1 less to cast. So the next bunch of spirits. IOB Split the Heavens, 6 generic and a white. Legendary creature spirit, flying, 3/6. Whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, put a 3/3 white spirit creature token with flying into play. Rattle Chains, 1 generic and a blue. Creature spirit, 2/1 flying flash. When it enters the battlefield, target spirit gains hexproof until in turn. You may cast spirit spells as though they had flash, so being able to cast spirit spells on your opponent's turn now as well. So then when it comes to your turn, you can untap and be able to swing with those non-token spirits. Nebelgast Herald, 2 generic and a blue. Creature spirit, flash and flying, 2/1. When it or another spirit enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent controls. So tap down, start swinging, or don't allow them to block or attack in certain cases. Supreme Phantom, 1 generic and a blue, creature spirit, flying, 1/3. Other spirits you control get +1/+1, so another anthem effect, sort of. Shacklegeist, 1 generic and a blue, creature spirit, 2/2 flying. It can block only creatures with flying, but tap 2 untapped spirits you control, and then you tap target creature you don't control. So nice, makes use of the spirits that are summoning sick on our board to tap down our opponent's stuff and swing in. Hira, Great Glass Spinner, 1 generic, double blue, legendary creature spirit, flying, 2/2. Creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time each turn, counter that spell or ability. So protection. Empyrean Eagle, 1 generic, white and a blue, creature bird spirit, 2/3, flying. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1, and most of our creatures are going to have flying, so it will be getting that +1/+1. Drog Skull Captain, 1 generic, white and blue, creature spirit warrior, spirit soldier, flying, 2/2. Other spirit creatures you control get +1/+1 and have hexproof. It can be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, so more protection. Drog Skull Cavalry, 5 generic, double white, creature spirit knight, flying, 4/4. Whenever another spirit enters battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life. So now utilizing like spirits we're playing. And for 3 generic and white, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. So way to gain life manually and by playing spirits. Spectral Shepherd, 2 generic and a white. Creature spirit, 2/2, flying, 1 generic and a blue. Return target spirit you control to its owner's hand. So being able to return spirits you control to its owner's hand to get like multiple ETB effects. Patron of the Kitsune. 4 generic, double white, legendary creature spirit, 5/6, Fox offering. May play this card anytime. You can play an instant by sacrificing a fox and paying the difference in mana cost between this and the sacrificed fox. Mana cost includes color, and whenever a creature attacks, you may gain 1 life. And that is on any side of the board, so your opponents, your creatures, etc. Teller of Tales, 3 generic, double blue, creature spirit, 3/3 flyer. Whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, tap or untap target creatures, so it will essentially give your spirits vigilance or tap down your opponent's stuff. Nice. Jog Skull Reinforcements, 3 generic and white, spirit soldier, melee 2/2. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until an turn for each opponent you attack this combat. So you attack 3 opponents. This gets +3/+3, so it'd be a 5/5 then. Other spirits control of melee, so now they do that as well. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to spirits you control. So now red decks can essentially not even touch your spirits. So good luck with that. Windborn Muse, 3 generic and white, creature spirit, 2/3, flying. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 generic for each creature he or she controls that's attacking you. Brago, King Eternal, 2 generic, white and blue, legendary creature spirit, 2/4, flying. When he deals combat damage to a player, exile any number of target non-land permanents you control, and return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So exile all of your non-token spirit creatures. You have them enter in untapped after they have attacked, so they're reset and able to block. And for like multiple ETB effects stuff like Drog Skull Captain, things like that. Spirit of the Hearth, 4 generic, the white creature gets spirit, flying 4/5. You have extra, so now you can't be touched by anything that your opponent has. That includes like spells or abilities your opponents control. Forbidding Spirit, 1 generic, double white, creature spirit cleric, 3/3. When it enters battlefield, until your next turn, creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 2 generic for each of those creatures. Drog Skull Reaver to go kind of in combination with Drog Skull Captain, because for 5 generic, white and blue, it's a creature spirit, 3/5, flying, double strike, lifelink. And whenever you gain life, draw a card. Not to mention, Millicent triggers off when not only when spirits die, but when they deal combat damage. Not when spirits be specific. So this is gonna get us 2 spirits, 6 life, and 2 cards when this hits an opponent, which is pretty nice. And it's getting us cards whenever we play spirits if we have Jog Skull Captain out. Also pretty cool. Battleground Geist, 4 generic and blue, creature spirit, flying, 2/3. Another anthem effect. Other spirit creature control get the +1/+0. Departed Deckhand, 1 generic and a blue, creature spirit pirate, 2/2. When it becomes target of a spell, sacrifice it, and it can be blocked except by spirits. And then for 3 generic and blue, other than other target creature you control can't be blocked this turn except by spirits. Makes sense because we're playing spirits. Ethereal Valkyrie, 4 generic, white and blue, creature spirit angel, 4/4, flying. Whenever it enters battlefield or attacks, draw a card, then exile a card from your hand face down. It becomes foretold. Its foretell cost is its mana cost reduced by 2 generic. So on a later turn, you may cast it for its foretell cost, even if this creature has left the battlefield. And it's face down, so your opponents don't know what it is. And it's basically this card is helping you cast spirits really cheaper, and just other cards in general. Geist of Saint Draft, 1 generic, white and blue, For legendary creature, Spirit Cleric, hexproof, so it can be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, and 2/2. And whenever it attacks, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying that's tapped and attacking, and then you exile that token at the end of combat. Selfless Spirits, 1 generic and white. Creature Spirit Cleric, flying 2/1. You can sacrifice it, and then creatures you control gain indestructible till end of turn. And Offenza, Kintree Spirit, double white for legendary creature Spirit Soldier, 2/2. Whenever another non-token creature enters battlefield under your control, bolster 1. So that is where you choose a creature with the least toughness among creatures you control and put a plus counter on it. So actually it's buffed permanently. Even after creatures are gone. Eidolon of Countless Battles, 1 generic and double white. Enchantment creature spirit, 0/0, bestow for 2 generic and double white. If you cast this card for its bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature. So pretty cool. If the enchant creature dies, then this enters in as an enchantment creature spirit. Eidolon of Countless Battles, an enchanted creature, get +1/+1 for each creature you control and +1/+1 for each aura you control. So also adding auras could be good if you're trying to pay off in that way too. Faithbound Judge, 1 generic, double white, creature, spirit, soldier, defender, flying, vigilance. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Faithbound Judge has 2 or fewer judgment counters on it, put a judgment counter on it. As long as Faithbound Judge has 3 or more judgment counters on it, it can attack as though it didn't have defender, and then disturb cost of 5 generic and double white, meaning that you can cast it from your graveyard for its disturb cost, and then it enters in transformed. So then this Faithbound Judge enters battlefield transformed as Sinner's Judgment, enchantment, or curse. Enchant player, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a judgment counter on Sinner's Judgment. If there are 3 or more judgment counters on it, enchanted player loses the game. If Sinner's Judgment would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So a nice way to just end someone outright, just end the game in a 1v1. Spirit of the Spires, 3 generic and white, creature spirit, 2/4 flying. Other creatures control flying get +0/+1. Mirror Hole Mimic, 3 generic and blue, creature spirit. You may have it enter this battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's a spirit in addition to its other types, and disturb cost of 3 generic and the blue. You may cast this card from your graveyard, transform for its disturb cost. There it is right there. Officially, it's a 0/0 on this side, and then on the other side it is Ghastly Mimicry, enchantment aura, enchant creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that is a copy of enchanted creature, except it's a spirit in addition to its other types. And if this card would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Then there's Timon, Youthful Geist, 4 generic and a blue, legendary creature spirit, partner with Rhoda, Geist Avenger, 3/4. Whenever this creature enters battlefield, target player may put Rhoda into their hand from their library, then shuffle flying, and at the beginning of each combat, tap up to 1 target creature. So you can tap your opponent's stuff. It's pretty nice. And then there's Rhoda, Geist Avenger, legendary creature, human soldier, 3 generic and a white for 3/3. Partner with Timon, Youthful Geist, so same thing, except you search for Timon, Youthful Geist this time. Vigilance, and whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, but it plus counter on Rhoda, Geist Avenger, so this can get bigger as this taps more stuff. And there's Donal, Herald of Wings, 2 generic, double blue, legendary creature human wizard 3/3. Whenever you cast a non-legendary creature spell with flying, you may copy it, except the copy is a 1/1 spirit in addition to its other types. Do this only once each turn. So allows you to copy the spirits you're casting. Spirit bonds, one generic and a white. So now we're getting into like payoffs for our commander and how we're playing it. So one generic and a white enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay a singular white. If you put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield, and then for one generic and a white, sacrifice a spirit target non-spirit creature gains indestructible until the turn. That may not be useful, but we're getting more spirits this, which might be all that matters because we're building more of an army. And then for 4 generic and double white, Storm of Souls. Sorcerer, return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of them is a 1/1 white spirit with flying in addition to its other types. Exile Storm of Souls. So a good way to just reanimate all of your stuff and have them enter in as spirits, and they're still not token. Day of the Dragons, 4 generic, triple blue enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile all creatures you control, then put that many 5/5 red dragon creature tokens flying onto the battlefield. And when Day of the Dragons leaves the battlefield, sacrifice all dragons you control, then return the exile cards to the battlefield under your control. So this could save your stuff from like a board wipe. This could also like just outright end the game because you're producing so many tokens that then you just make them all like 5/5s instead of just 1/1s flying. And now they're like 5 times as powerful. And your opponent has to deal with like a lot more damage and like way bigger of creatures. And if this ends up dying, then you get all those spirits back. All the non-token ones, I should say. And just all the non-token creatures that you exiled in general. And so that then triggers off like ETB effects. And that's just chaos from there for your opponents to deal with. Just like Synthetic Destiny, 4 generic, double blue, instant exile all creatures you control. At the beginning of the next end step, reveal a card from the top of your library until you reveal that many creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way onto the battlefield and shuffle the rest of the revealed cards into your library. So then, once again, we have a lot of spirits, so we'll want to do this eventually. We have bunch, and then just get a whole big old army, like way more creatures out of our deck if we want to. And we don't have like that many non-token spirits. Next we have Ashnod's Altar, 3 generic artifact. Sacrifice a creature, add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. Since we're playing like a token sort of deck, and since non-token spirits, I should say, dying matters, we will also want this because then we can take advantage of that because of Millicent. So then, say if we were to sacrifice a non-token spirit, then Millicent would trigger, and then we get another spirit to sacrifice. Should be nice. Geist Honored Monk, 3 generic, double white, creature, human monk, vigilance. Its power and toughness are each equal to number of creatures you control, and then when it enters the battlefield, you put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. So pretty nice. Angel of Flight. Angel of Flight Alabaster. I don't know. 4 generic and a white creature angel flying for 4. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target spirit card from your graveyard to your hand. So sort of reanimation. You have to play the spirits all over again. Alheru, Solemn Ritualist, I think. 4 generic and white, a creature, human monk, for 3. And when it enters the battlefield, put a postal counter on each of up to 2 other target creatures. And whenever a non-token creature you control with a plus counter on it dies, you create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So as you're powering your spirits up, your non-token spirits up with flying and plus counters. If they die, then they create another one thanks to Millicent, and then another one as well thanks to El Heru. Yeah, point. Chroma's Will, this is more of a game finisher in this deck. 3 generic and a white. For an instant, choose one. If you control a commander, you has cast a spell, you may choose both. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and don't strike until end turn, which is very good because vigilance allows you to hang back flying for anything that doesn't, and double strike means that if they get through to your opponents, you're getting essentially twice as many spirits as what you would be with Millicent. And then on the other side, you have creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors, meaning they can be blocked. And if you choose both, then your opponents are pretty much gone. Rally of Wings, because protection means, I should say, protection from all colors until end turn means that unless something is colorless, your opponents cannot block your creatures. They cannot enchant them. In fact, no one can. No colored spells or abilities can target your creatures, or just really anything, but something like colors, like an artifact creature, wouldn't be able to block, or like something with the void would be able to get past that. But other than that, no. That explains that whole thing with like them not being able to be blocked. Then Rally of Wings, 1 generic and white, instant untap all creatures you control. Creatures you control with flying get +2/+2 until the turn. So again, another game ender, Pyre of Heroes, 2 generic for an artifact, and then 2 generic, you can tap it, sacrifice a creature, search the library for a shard that shares a creature type with the sacrificed creature and has converted mana cost equal to 1+ that creature's converted mana cost, and put the card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library, activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. It's a nice way to search for something and get a spirit out of it. Bishop of Wings, double white, creature human cleric. Whenever an angel enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 4 life, and whenever an angel you control dies, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, so 1/4. And you may be asking, why do I have this in here? Well, Bishop of Wings here, well, is actually a part of an infinite combo that you will see. Mystic Reflection, 1 generic and a blue instant. By the way, this is not part of the infinite combo, but still pretty cool. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. So that includes creature tokens. So you could choose like a non-legendary creature on your battlefield, and then like next time you get a token or like just a creature in general, then that instead enters in as a copy, and then for a foretell cost of a blue. So during your turn, you may pay 2 generic and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost of 1 single blue mana. Next, we have Priest of the Blessed Graph, 2 generic and a white, creature cleric, 1/2. At the beginning of your end step, create X 1/1 white spirit tokens with flying, where X is the number of opponents who control more lands than you, so punish your opponents for having more lands than you, and ramping. True Conviction, 3 generic, triple white, sorry. Enchantment creatures you control have double strike and lifelink, so they hit twice and then you gain 1 life for each time they've hit. So like you have a 3/3, and then you have Millicent out and it hits your opponent, so it's going to hit them twice, so you're going to get 2 spirits, 6 life, and 6 damage onto your opponents, so that's pretty good. Annotated Procession, 3 generic and a white, enchantment. If an effect would create one or more tokens under your control, it creates twice as many of those tokens instead, so doubling the amount of tokens we create now. And then Divine Visitation, which is part of the Bishop of Wings combo. So for 3 generic double white, it's an enchantment that says if one or more tokens you would be created under your control, that many 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance are created instead. So here's how it works. So you have Bishop of Wings out, you have Divine Visitation, and then you have your sack outlet, so Astronaut's Altar, and then you just need a non-token spirit or just like to create a token. So what happens then is that token then becomes a 4/4 angel. So it enters battlefield, you gain 4 life because the Bishops of Wing angel enters battlefield trigger. And then you sacrifice that angel right to Ashnod's Altar to add 2 colors mana to your mana pool. And then because of Bishop of Wings, that was an angel that died. And then you create a 1/1 white spirit creature token flying, but because of Divine Visitation, that becomes a 4/4 white angel creature token with vigilance and flying. So then gain 4 life again, sacrifice to Ashnod's Altar, rinse and repeat. You got infinite mana, infinite life, and quite possibly infinite tokens thanks to annotated procession, because you only have to sacrifice 1 angel. And there you go. Now moving on to non-basic lands. Faceless Haven, Snowland. Once again, I do believe I forgot Snowlands. Dang it. But still something good to have, I guess, because this is more of an example. You can tap for a colorless, and then for triple snow mana. So that's snow mana can be produced by sources from Snowlands. So like snow-covered swamp or like snow-covered island or plains in this case. Just because this is blue white, not the swamp. It's not blue white black. Anyways, Faceless Haven becomes a 4/3 creature with vigilant, and all creature types until end turn. It's still land. So then if it deals damage, then it'll trigger off Millicent because it'll be a spirit in addition to everything else. Arch of Vraska, land, ascend. If you control 10 or more permanents, you get the Seizer's Blessing for the rest of the game, so which most likely we will. And then taps for a colors, and then for 5 generic, you can tap it and draw a card, but you can only activate that ability if you have the City's Blessing, which you probably will. I mark it. It's a land that can tap for a colorless mana, and then you can also tap to sacrifice a creature, and you sacrifice a creature and you gain 1 life. So nice. Windbrisk Kites, Hideaway, lane. This land enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, the top 4 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down and put the rest on the bottom of your library. Then you can tap it to add a white 2 mana pool. And for a white, you can tap it, and you may play the exile card without paying its mana cost if you attacked with 3 or more creatures this turn, which most likely you will have. And then you would have Snowlands here. So let's see. So then it's 23 basic islands. Yeah, 23 islands / snow-covered islands, and then 23 plains / snow-covered plains. And that is it for Millicent, Restless Revenant. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please subscribe and leave a like. Hit the notification bell, share this video with others. I love you all. Have a nice day.